So can we?
On three. 1, 2, 3.
Sister Act wasn't just a feel-good comedy about a lounge singer hiding in a convent. Behind Whoopi Goldberg's spectacular performance and those unforgettable musical numbers lie secrets that stayed buried for over 3 decades. From dangerous on-set accidents to shocking casting rejections, the truth about this beloved film will change how you watch it forever. These are 20 secrets about Sister Act hidden for decades. Number 20. Bette Midler was originally cast but demanded too much money.
Okay. Very nice.
The role of Dolores Van Cartier was written specifically for Bette Midler, not Whoopi Goldberg. In 1990, screenwriter Paul Rudnick created the character with Midler's brassy, larger-than-life personality in mind. Touchstone Pictures. Executives loved the script and immediately approached Midler with an offer. She read it overnight and agreed to star. Contract negotiations began, but Midler's salary demands shocked the studio. She wanted $8 million plus a percentage of box office profits, making her one of the highest-paid actresses in Hollywood. The studio offered $5 million, which Midler rejected. Negotiations dragged on for 6 months without resolution. Midler insisted on creative control, including director approval and script revision rights. The studio refused these demands, fearing she'd transform the comedy into a dramatic vehicle. When negotiations collapsed, Touchstone needed a replacement fast. Production was scheduled to begin in 3 months, and they had no star. Whoopi Goldberg's agent heard about the opening and submitted her client. Goldberg had won an Oscar for The Color Purple, but struggled to find good roles afterward. The studio was skeptical initially, but Goldberg's audition was phenomenal. She brought humor and warmth that Midler's version might have lacked. Goldberg accepted $4 million without demanding creative control. The role revitalized her career and created a franchise. Number 19. The nuns were played by actual gospel singers, not actresses. Most of the singing nuns weren't professional actresses, but experienced gospel performers recruited from Los Angeles churches. Director Emil Ardolino wanted authentic choir sound, not Hollywood voices. He attended services at over 30 churches, listening to choirs and identifying talented singers. Ardolino approached choir directors, explaining his vision for Sister Act's musical sequences. He needed women who could sing powerfully while acting naturally. Traditional casting would have meant hiring actresses, then dubbing professional singers for musical numbers. Ardolino wanted genuine performance captured live on camera. He assembled a choir of 17 women, only 5 of whom had acting experience. The rest were teachers, accountants, and nurses who sang in church choirs as a passion. These women underwent intensive acting workshops for 6 weeks before filming. They learned camera awareness, hitting marks, and delivering dialogue naturally. Many struggled initially, accustomed to performing for live audiences rather than cameras. The workshops paid off beautifully. Their musical performances have an authenticity that trained actresses couldn't have provided. The joy and energy in their faces during singing scenes is genuine, not manufactured. However, their inexperience created production challenges. Simple dialogue scenes required numerous takes because the non-actors would forget lines or miss cues. What should have taken 2 hours sometimes consumed entire days. Number 18. Whoopi Goldberg broke 3 ribs during the casino chase scene.
Hey, what do you think's going on over there? Oh, man, that sounds good.
Whoopi Goldberg suffered a serious injury during the opening casino chase sequence that production kept secret for months. The scene required Dolores to run through the casino, hide behind slot machines, and eventually escape through a kitchen. Stunt coordinators planned the sequence carefully, with Goldberg performing most of her own running and sliding. During one take, Goldberg was supposed to slide behind a row of slot machines and crouch low while hitmen ran past. She executed the slide perfectly, but crashed into a support beam hidden behind the machines. The impact was violent, knocking the wind from her lungs. Goldberg stayed in character, finishing the take despite intense pain. When the director called cut, she collapsed, unable to breathe properly. The set medic examined her and suspected broken ribs. An ambulance transported Goldberg to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where X-rays confirmed 3 fractured ribs on her left side. Doctors wanted to hospitalize her for observation, but Goldberg refused. She returned to set the next morning, wearing a compression wrap under her costume. The injury was excruciating, making every breath painful. Laughing during comedy scenes became torture. Co-stars didn't know about the injury initially, wondering why Goldberg seemed stiff and uncomfortable. She finally explained after a week, swearing everyone to secrecy. The studio feared negative publicity might hurt the film's family-friendly image. Goldberg finished filming while injured, never missing a scheduled day despite constant pain. Number 17. The convent was actually a converted psychiatric hospital.
There are 3 vows every nun must accept. The vow of poverty, the vow of obedience.
The exterior and interior convent scenes were filmed at St. Paul the Apostle Church in Los Angeles, but many interior sequences used a former psychiatric facility. Production designers searched for authentic convent locations, but found most were too small or refused filming permission. They discovered an abandoned psychiatric hospital in Glendale that had closed in 1985. The building's layout was perfect, with long corridors, small rooms, and a chapel-like gathering space. The hospital's institutional architecture resembled convent design, making conversion relatively simple. Production spent $200,000 transforming the facility. They installed religious artwork, crucifixes, and stained glass windows. They built wooden pews in the chapel area and created individual nun cells from former patient rooms. The building's history created an unsettling atmosphere that affected cast and crew. Many reported feeling uncomfortable in certain areas, particularly the basement where electroshock therapy had been administered. Some crew members refused to work alone in specific sections, claiming they heard unexplained sounds. The assistant director dismissed these concerns as superstition, but incidents continued. Equipment would malfunction in specific rooms, always the same ones. Lights would flicker and die, despite having fresh bulbs. Camera operators reported feeling watched in the empty corridors. One makeup artist quit after claiming she saw a figure in a hospital gown in an unused wing. Production wrapped quickly, and the building was demolished 6 months later. Cast members rarely discuss filming there, and the location never appeared in promotional materials. Number 16. Maggie Smith initially refused the role 3 times.
Give that money, baby. Give that money. Come on, girls, you do what I do.
Maggie Smith rejected the role of Mother Superior 3 separate times before finally accepting. The British actress felt the character was too stereotypical, a stern nun without depth or complexity. She wanted nothing to do with what she called a silly American comedy. Her agent kept pushing, believing the role was perfect for Smith's commanding presence. After the 3rd rejection, director Emile Ardolino flew to London to meet Smith personally. He brought a revised script with expanded scenes for Mother Superior, giving her more emotional range. Ardolino explained his vision for the character as a woman, struggling between duty and desire for change. He promised Smith complete freedom to develop the character's subtle humor and dignity. Smith was impressed by Ardolino's passion, but remained skeptical about the script's quality. She agreed to a reading with Whoopi Goldberg to test their chemistry. The reading was extraordinary, with both actresses finding natural rhythm together. Smith's cold formality contrasted perfectly with Goldberg's warmth and irreverence. After the reading, Smith agreed conditionally. She demanded script approval for all her scenes and insisted on a 6-week filming schedule to honor prior commitments. The studio agreed to everything, desperate to secure her. Smith's presence elevated the entire production. Her performance brought gravitas and genuine emotion to scenes that could have been purely comedic. The relationship between Mother Superior and Dolores became the film's emotional heart, largely due to Smith's commitment. Number 15. The My Guy. Full performance was filmed. Semaixte in 1 take.
Joey! Vinny, there's 1,000 nuns here. What do we do?
You go to the left. Joey, do it.
I can't, Vince. She's still in.
The iconic transformation of My Guy into a gospel anthem was captured in a single, unbroken take lasting 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Director Emile Ardolino planned elaborate coverage with multiple camera angles and several days of shooting. The night before filming, he reconsidered this approach. He realized that breaking the performance into separate shots would destroy its organic energy and spontaneity. Ardolino decided to attempt a one-take capture, using 4 cameras positioned around the chapel set. He explained to the cast that they would perform the entire song without stopping, exactly as if performing live. The choir members were thrilled, comfortable with continuous performance from their church experience. Whoopi Goldberg was nervous, accustomed to filming scenes in small pieces that editors would assemble. The first attempt failed when a camera operator tripped over a cable, causing his camera to shake violently. The second attempt was ruined by a lighting malfunction that plunged half the chapel into darkness. The third take was perfect from beginning to end. The energy built naturally as the nuns gained confidence, their joy becoming infectious. Goldberg conducted them with genuine enthusiasm, feeding off their excitement. When Ardolino called cut, the entire cast and crew erupted in applause. Everyone knew they had witnessed something special. Ardolino watched the playback 3 times, finding nothing to improve. That single take appears in the film with only minor color correction. The performance's authenticity and energy come from its uninterrupted flow. Number 14, Harvey Keitel, Method. Acted so intensely, he scared the entire cast. Harvey Keitel's portrayal of gangster Vince LaRocca involved method acting that terrified cast and crew throughout production. Keitel stayed in character between takes, maintaining his threatening persona during breaks and meals. He would stare menacingly at other actors, speak in a low growl, and make veiled threats even when cameras weren't rolling. Other actors found this behavior deeply unsettling and avoided him whenever possible. Whoopi Goldberg initially thought he was joking, attempting some misguided bonding through improvisation. When she realized Keitel was serious, remaining hostile even during lunch breaks, she complained to the director. Emil Ardolino spoke with Keitel privately, asking him to separate character from personal interactions. Keitel explained that maintaining consistent menace was essential for authentic performance. He feared that friendly off-camera interactions would undermine his on-screen threat. Ardolino understood, but worried about cast morale deteriorating. The compromise was keeping Keitel isolated from other actors, except during scheduled scenes. He had a separate trailer far from the main cast area and ate meals alone. This arrangement solved the immediate problem, but created new issues. When filming scenes together, other actors genuinely seemed frightened of Keitel, which actually improved their performances. Their fear was real, not acted, giving confrontation scenes authentic tension. Keitel's commitment produced a chilling villain, but at significant cost to production harmony. After filming wrapped, Keitel immediately dropped the persona, apologizing to cast members he had frightened. Most understood his process, though some remained resentful. At number 13, The Pope, Blessed, the film before its release.
Oh, one song.
No,
Do you have
no,
a chord?
no,
One song,
no,
please?
no.
Come on, he does. All right. It'll come back to you 10.
Sister Act received an unprecedented blessing from Pope John Paul II before its theatrical release, a first for a mainstream Hollywood comedy. Touchstone Pictures. Executives worried that Catholic organizations might protest the film's lighthearted treatment of convent life. They approached the Vatican through diplomatic channels, requesting a private screening for church officials. The Vatican agreed, curious about Hollywood's portrayal of religious life. In April 1992, a delegation of cardinals and bishops watched Sister Act at a Vatican screening room. Their response was overwhelmingly positive, finding the film respectful and uplifting despite its comedic tone. They appreciated that the story showed faith transforming lives and communities coming together. The delegation reported their approval to Pope John Paul II, recommending he endorse the film. The Pope agreed to watch it personally, an extremely rare action for a secular entertainment. After viewing, he reportedly laughed throughout and praised the film's message about redemption and service. The Vatican issued a statement calling Sister Act a joyful celebration of faith and music that honored religious dedication. This endorsement was gold for Touchstone's marketing department. They immediately incorporated the Vatican's approval into promotional materials worldwide. The blessing significantly reduced protests from conservative religious groups who might otherwise have boycotted. It also gave the film credibility with family audiences who trusted the Vatican's judgment. The Pope's approval transformed Sister Act from a risky comedy into a family-approved phenomenon, directly contributing to its massive box office success. Number 12. Kathy Najimy's character was based on a real nun from the writer's childhood.
Give that money, baby. Give that money. Come on, girls, you do what I do.
Sister Mary Patrick, played brilliantly by Kathy Najimy, was directly inspired by a nun who taught screenwriter Paul Rudnick in Catholic school. Sister Mary Catherine taught 4th grade at St. Agnes School in New York during the 1960s. She was known for her infectious enthusiasm and unconventional teaching methods that made learning fun. Sister Mary Catherine would sing lessons, dance during recess, and bring joy to every interaction. Young Paul Rudnick adored her, finding her warmth a stark contrast to stricter teachers. Years later, when writing Sister Act, Rudnick consciously modeled Sister Mary Patrick after his beloved teacher. He captured her boundless energy, childlike wonder, and ability to find happiness in simple pleasures. Kathy Najimy brought additional layers to the character, adding physical comedy and perfect timing. When casting directors saw Najimy's audition, they immediately recognized she embodied the character completely. Najimy researched nun behavior extensively, visiting convents and interviewing sisters about daily life. She wanted to portray genuine religious devotion alongside the character's comedic elements. The real Sister Mary Catherine never knew she'd inspired a Hollywood character. She'd retired to a convent in upstate New York and rarely watched movies. When Sister Act became a phenomenon, former students contacted her, pointing out the similarities. She finally watched the film and was delighted, though she insisted the movie version was much funnier than she'd ever been. Rudnick eventually sent her a letter thanking her for inspiring his favorite character. She responded with a handwritten note, blessing his career and expressing gratitude for honoring teachers everywhere. Number 11. The musical arrangements were rejected by 5 different composers. The film's iconic gospel arrangements of classic songs were rejected by 5 established composers before Mark Shaman accepted the challenging project. The production needed someone to transform secular pop songs into authentic gospel numbers that respected both musical traditions. The first composer they approached was a famous Broadway arranger who declined, feeling the concept was disrespectful to gospel music. The second composer accepted but delivered arrangements that sounded like parodies, mocking rather than honoring gospel traditions. The third and fourth composers produced technically competent arrangements that lacked soul and emotional power. The fifth composer quit after 2 weeks, unable to balance the film's comedic tone with musical authenticity. Production was desperate, with filming scheduled to begin in 6 weeks and no usable music. Mark Shaman, known for his work on comedy films, was their last hope. Shaman was hesitant initially, aware of previous failures and the project's challenges. He spent 2 weeks researching gospel music history, attending church services, and consulting with gospel choir directors. Shaman's approach was treating the source material with complete respect, while finding natural connections to the original songs. His arrangement of My Guy preserved the Motown classics structure while infusing gospel's call and response tradition. For I Will Follow Him, Shaman created a building crescendo that felt like genuine worship while maintaining pop accessibility. His arrangements were approved immediately, praised for their authenticity and entertainment value. Shaman's work became the film's foundation, making musical sequences believable and emotionally resonant. Number 10. The choir costumes cost more than Whoopi Goldberg's entire wardrobe.
How can you betray me like this? You are nothing!
The nun habits worn by the choir cost $150,000 total, exceeding Whoopi Goldberg's complete costume budget by $30,000. Costume designer Molly McGuinness insisted on authentic habits rather than cheap imitations or rentals. She researched traditional nun attire extensively, discovering that quality habits required specific fabrics and construction techniques. Each habit consisted of 7 separate pieces: tunic, scapular, veil, coif, cincture, rosary, and crucifix. McGuinness commissioned a specialty religious garment manufacturer in Pennsylvania to create custom habits for all 17 choir members. The manufacturer typically produced habits for actual convents, ensuring absolute authenticity. Each complete habit cost $8,800, requiring hand stitching and traditional materials. The fabric alone was expensive, using heavyweight wool serge that draped properly and photographed beautifully. Cheaper synthetic fabrics would have saved money but looked terrible on camera, appearing shiny and obviously fake. The production ordered 3 complete sets of habits for each actress, anticipating damage during filming's physical comedy. This tripled the costume budget, but proved necessary when habits were torn, stained, or damaged during rehearsals. In contrast, Whoopi Goldberg's entire wardrobe as Dolores cost $120,000, including her flashy lounge singer costumes and street clothes. The budget disparity frustrated producers initially, questioning why background characters needed such expensive costumes. McGuinness argued that the habits were essentially supporting characters, central to the film's visual identity and authenticity. The investment paid off magnificently, with the nun's appearance becoming iconic and instantly recognizable worldwide. Number 9. Bill Duke improvised. The entire Bad Habits confrontation scene.
Ever since he touched my heart, I knew.
The tense confrontation where Police Lieutenant Eddie Souther warns Dolores about her dangerous situation was completely improvised by Bill Duke. The original scripting contained a brief, straightforward scene with Duke delivering exposition about witness protection protocols. Director Emile Ardolino felt the scene was too dry and lacked emotional impact. He encouraged Duke to improvise during rehearsal, exploring the character's frustration with Dolores' reckless behavior. Duke created an intense, almost frightening performance where Souther's professional composure cracks, revealing genuine fear for Dolores' safety. He incorporated physical intimidation, getting in Goldberg's face and using his imposing presence to emphasize the danger. Goldberg was startled by Duke's intensity during the first improvised take, her surprise reaction completely authentic. Ardolino loved this dynamic and encouraged them to continue improvising. They filmed 8 takes, each slightly different as Duke and Goldberg played off each other's energy. Duke's background in theater gave him comfort with improvisation, while Goldberg's comedy training made her naturally responsive to unexpected choices. The scene's final version combines elements from 3 different takes, edited together for maximum impact. Duke's improvised dialogue was so superior to the scripted version that the screenwriter incorporated similar language into the sequel. The confrontation became one of the film's dramatic highlights, grounding the comedy with genuine stakes and consequences. Duke's performance reminded audiences that Dolores faced real danger, not just comic misadventures. His commitment to improvisation elevated what could have been a forgettable expository scene into a memorable character moment that deepened the film's emotional complexity. Number 8. The final concert scene required 2 weeks to film.
A mountain so high you can keep me away.
The climactic concert performance, where the nuns sing for the Pope, took 2 full weeks to complete, the longest single sequence in the production schedule. Director Emile Ardolino planned every shot meticulously, creating a detailed storyboard covering 270 individual shots. The sequence required coordinating the choir, extras playing the audience, special lighting, multiple camera positions, and live musical performance. The first challenge was assembling enough extras to fill the venue convincingly. Production hired 400 extras for 2 weeks, an enormous expense. Keeping extras engaged and energetic through repetitive filming proved difficult. So by day 4, the extras' enthusiasm had visibly diminished, forcing production assistants to constantly motivate them between takes. The musical performance itself required capturing live singing to maintain authentic energy. Unlike earlier scenes, where lip-syncing to pre-recorded tracks was possible, this sequence needed raw, live performance. The choir sang the entire medley 47 times over 2 weeks, their voices growing progressively more strained. The production brought in a vocal coach who monitored the singers' health, ensuring they didn't permanently damage their voices. Several choir members developed laryngitis and required medical treatment. The elaborate lighting design created another complication. The sequence featured dramatic spotlights, colored gels, and moving lights that transformed the venue into a concert space. Coordinating lighting cues with camera movements and live performance required extensive rehearsal. Technical failures were frequent, with lights malfunctioning or missing cues, forcing complete restarts. Despite the challenges, Ardolino maintained perfectionist standards, refusing to settle for adequate takes when excellent ones were possible. The 2-week marathon tested everyone's patience and endurance, but produced the film's most visually stunning and emotionally satisfying sequence. Number 7. Whoopi Goldberg rewrote most of her own dialogue.
Be fine, don't worry.
Whoopi Goldberg rewrote approximately 60% of her dialogue, transforming the script's somewhat generic comedy into her distinctive voice. The original screenplay featured clever situations, but dialogue that felt written rather than spoken. Goldberg recognized immediately that the lines didn't match her natural rhythm and speech patterns. During the first table read, she deviated from the script constantly, improvising alternative lines that felt more authentic. Director Emile Ardolino noticed that Goldberg's improvised dialogue was consistently funnier and more natural than the scripted version. He gave her permission to rewrite her lines, with the understanding that she'd maintain the scene's basic structure and story points. Goldberg worked late into the night after filming, rewriting the next day's scenes to match her comedic sensibility. She focused on making Dolores more streetwise and sharp-tongued, emphasizing her survival instincts and quick wit. Many of the film's most quotable lines came from Goldberg's rewrites, including her sarcastic exchanges with Mother Superior. The screenwriter, Paul Rudnick, was initially resistant to such extensive changes, feeling his work was being dismantled. After watching dailies and seeing how Goldberg's rewrites improved the material, he became supportive and collaborative. Rudnick and Goldberg developed a productive partnership, with him providing story structure while she refined the dialogue. This collaboration strengthened both the comedy and character development, making Dolores more three-dimensional. Goldberg's rewrites also added cultural specificity, incorporating Black vernacular and references that the white screenwriter hadn't included. These additions made Dolores feel like a complete, authentic person rather than a generic comedy character. The Writers Guild ultimately gave Rudnick sole screenplay credit, but Goldberg's contributions were essential to the film's success. Number 6. The film was originally rated R before major reshoots. Sister Act was initially rated R by the MPAA, requiring extensive reshoots to achieve the PG rating Touchstone desperately needed. The first cut screened for the ratings board in January 1992 contained significantly more profanity and sexual references. Harvey Keitel's gangster character used extremely graphic language throughout, and several scenes featured sexual innuendo deemed inappropriate for family audiences. The opening casino sequences included topless showgirls visible in the background, standard for Las Vegas settings, but problematic for the rating. When the R rating was announced, Touchstone executives panicked. Their entire marketing strategy positioned Sister Act as family-friendly counter-programming for summer blockbusters. An R rating would destroy that positioning and dramatically limit the potential audience. The studio ordered immediate reshoots to remove objectionable content. Every scene with Keitel was re-examined for language that could be cut or replaced with milder alternatives. This required bringing Keitel back for additional filming, matching his appearance and continuity with footage shot months earlier. The casino showgirls were digitally obscured, using early computer effects, covering the nudity without reshooting. Several jokes with sexual innuendo were completely removed, creating awkward gaps in the comedy rhythm. New jokes were written and filmed to replace the deleted material, attempting to maintain the film's pacing. The reshoots cost an additional $2 million and delayed the release by 6 weeks. The re-edited version was resubmitted to the MPAA, which granted a PG rating after minor additional trims. The final theatrical version was significantly tamer than the director's original vision. Emile Ardolino privately expressed frustration with the changes, feeling they softened the comedy's edge. However, the PG rating proved financially crucial, allowing families to attend and driving Sister Act to become one of the year's biggest hits. Number 5. Lauryn Hill made her film debut as an uncredited background student. Before becoming a Grammy-winning artist with the Fugees, Lauryn Hill appeared in Sister Act as an uncredited student in the school choir scenes. In 1991, Hill was 16 years old and attending Columbia High School in New Jersey. She was already singing professionally in small venues and it appeared in a soap opera. When casting directors visited New York area schools seeking talented young singers for Sister Act's school sequences, Hill auditioned and was selected. The production needed students who could actually sing, rather than actors pretending to be singers. Hill appeared in several scenes, at the struggling Catholic school, where Dolores volunteers the convent choir. She's visible in the background during choir practice sequences, wearing a school uniform and singing with other students. Her role required no dialogue, just background presence and singing in group numbers. Hill treated the experience professionally despite the minor nature of her role. She arrived on time, followed directions precisely, and impressed the crew with her mature work ethic. Director Emile Ardolino noticed Hill's presence and natural screen charisma, even in background shots. He considered expanding her role, but decided against it, not wanting to disrupt the film's focus. Hill received a small payment and a screen credit in the original production paperwork. However, when the final credits were assembled, her name was omitted due to time constraints and her minimal screen presence. This was standard practice for background performers with no dialogue. Hill never publicly discussed her Sister Act appearance during her music career's peak. The information only emerged years later when film researchers discovered her name in production documents and identified her in background shots. Number 4. The convent set was haunted, according to 12 different crew members. Twelve separate crew members reported paranormal experiences on the convent set, creating an atmosphere of genuine unease during production. The incidents began during the first week of filming in the converted psychiatric hospital. A sound technician working alone late at night heard footsteps in an empty corridor. When he investigated, he found no one, but the footsteps continued, seeming to follow him through the building. The next week, a lighting technician reported seeing a shadowy figure in nun's clothing in a doorway. When he approached, the figure vanished without any logical explanation. These initial reports were dismissed as exhaustion or overactive imagination. But incidents continued with disturbing frequency. A makeup artist felt someone touch her shoulder while working alone in a dressing room. She turned to find the room completely empty. A camera operator's equipment repeatedly malfunctioned in specific locations, always the same corner of the chapel set. Multiple people reported feeling suddenly cold in certain areas, despite California's warm weather and the building's lack of air conditioning. The most disturbing incident involved 3 people simultaneously. During a night shoot, a production assistant, electrician, and script supervisor all heard a woman singing in a distant part of the building. They followed the sound together, finding an empty room where the singing seems to originate. When they entered, the singing stopped abruptly. Director Emile Ardolino refused to acknowledge these reports publicly, fearing they'd disrupt production or create negative publicity. Privately, he instructed that no one should work alone in the building after dark. The haunting stories became production legend, with cast members nervously joking about their ghostly co-stars. After filming concluded, several crew members refused to return for pickup shots, requesting their scenes be rescheduled at different locations. Number 3. The studio forced a happy ending over the director's original vision.
Ever since he touched my heart, I knew.
Director Emile Ardolino's original ending for Sister Act was dramatically different and significantly darker than the version audiences saw. His vision concluded with Dolores successfully testifying against Vince LaRocca, then returning to her lounge singing career. The final scene showed her performing in a new casino, seemingly unchanged by her convent experience. The camera would slowly zoom out, revealing her isolation despite her success, suggesting that her transformation was temporary. Ardolino intended this bittersweet conclusion as commentary on how difficult genuine change truly is. Test audiences hated this ending completely. Preview screenings resulted in negative response cards specifically criticizing the conclusion's lack of emotional satisfaction. Audiences felt cheated after investing in Dolores' transformation, expecting payoff, showing her growth. Touchstone executives ordered a complete ending reshoot, insisting on a satisfying, uplifting conclusion. Ardolino resisted initially, arguing that his ending was more truthful and artistically valid. The studio was unmoved, explaining that audiences wanted hope and redemption, not ambiguous social commentary. The compromise was the version that appears in the film, with Dolores choosing to balance her performing career with continued involvement in the convent community. The new ending required 3 days of additional filming and cost $400,000. It featured Dolores performing with the nuns at a neighborhood celebration, showing her integrating her two worlds. Ardolino directed these scenes with visible reluctance, feeling they sentimentalized his vision. However, he later admitted the studio was right. The happy ending resonated with audiences worldwide, contributing to the film's massive success. Ardolino's darker conclusion would have satisfied critics, but alienated the broad audience that made Sister Act a phenomenon. Or worse. Number 2. Whoopi Goldberg's mother died during filming and production, nearly shut down. Whoopi Goldberg's mother, Emma Johnson, died unexpectedly during the 4th week of filming, creating a production crisis. Johnson suffered a stroke at her New York home and died 3 days later without regaining consciousness. Goldberg flew immediately to New York, devastated by the loss of her closest family member. The production shut down for 1 week, with Touchstone executives uncertain whether Goldberg would return. She'd been extremely close to her mother, who had encouraged her comedy career from the beginning. Goldberg spent the week making funeral arrangements and grieving with family. As she called director Emile Ardolino 5 days after her mother's death, asking if she could return to work. She explained that sitting idle with her grief was unbearable, and she needed the distraction that work provided. Ardolino was supportive, but concerned about her emotional state. When Goldberg returned to set, her grief was obvious to everyone. Between takes, she would sit alone, staring into space, lost in sadness. Her comic timing was slightly off, requiring additional takes to capture the energy needed. The cast rallied around her with extraordinary compassion. Maggie Smith, despite their limited off-camera interaction, spent hours talking with Goldberg about grief and loss. Kathy Najimy made it her mission to coax smiles from Goldberg during breaks. The entire production became more family-like, united in supporting their grieving star. Goldberg later said that completing Sister Act helped her process her mother's death. She channeled her grief into her performance, adding unexpected emotional depth to Dolores' character. The scene where Dolores comforts a discouraged nun carries genuine emotion from Goldberg's real-life pain. She dedicated the film to her mother's memory, ensuring Emma Johnson's influence on her daughter's career was publicly acknowledged. Number 1. The film was almost canceled 3 days before shooting started. Sister Act came within 72 hours of complete cancellation when Touchstone Pictures nearly pulled all funding. 3 days before production was scheduled to begin, Disney's corporate executives reviewed projected costs and became alarmed. The budget had escalated from $18 million to $23 million through various production changes and casting decisions. Disney was experiencing financial pressure from recent box office disappointments and theme park construction overruns. The corporation ordered all subsidiary studios to cut budgets aggressively or cancel projects entirely. Touchstone Pictures. President David Hoberman received a direct order to cancel Sister Act unless he could guarantee profitability. The film had warning signs that concerned executives. It was a music comedy, a genre with mixed commercial track record. It featured an African-American female lead, and Hollywood's conventional wisdom claimed such films couldn't succeed internationally. The concept of a lounge singer hiding in a convent seemed bizarre rather than commercially appealing. Hoberman fought desperately for the project, believing in its potential despite the risks. He personally guaranteed the film would earn its budget back, staking his professional reputation on Sister Act's success. This unprecedented commitment convinced Disney executives to allow production to proceed. Filming began as scheduled, with cast and crew completely unaware how close they'd come to cancellation. The near cancellation created additional pressure throughout production, with studio executives monitoring expenses obsessively. Every budget overrun required immediate justification. Hoberman visited the set weekly, ensuring production stayed on schedule and within the revised budget. When Sister Act became a phenomenon, earning $231 million worldwide, Hoberman's gamble was vindicated completely. His willingness to risk his career saved a film that became a beloved classic and launched a successful franchise. Sister Act wasn't just a comedy about a singer finding redemption in a convent. Behind the laughter and unforgettable music lies a story of creative battles, personal tragedy, and risks that nearly destroyed the film before anyone saw it. From Whoopi Goldberg's grief to the studio's last-minute panic, these secrets reveal how close we came to never experiencing this beloved classic. The next time you watch Sister Act, you'll know the hidden truth behind every scene.